LFC. You getting used to that yet?
I'm getting used to it. I was just ready for it. I genuinely thought that you were going to put on some Bob Marley redemption song, just because of the title.
No.
But I did not pick that, by the way. But yeah, there you go.
No, I'm thinking about making get a different music for the members' videos and streams and everything. So
cool. Yeah.
So I'll look into that. But anyway, guys, this is I almost said the follow-up, but it's not a follow-up really. So obviously we do these after hours for you guys, the members, where we have discussions with other people and we talk a little bit more openly about things. I did one the other day with Martin that went down well with people. So we've got that one as well. For you to watch. That'll be going live this weekend, guys, for the public and everything like that. But today I wanted to just catch up with Seano and just go back over a few things. There's probably stuff that I already know, but I think there's probably stuff that you guys are not aware of. So yeah. Wow. So I just want to make sure that this is definitely members only, isn't it? The chats are popping up in this for some reason now.
The chats are popping up.
They didn't pop up in here yesterday. Not yesterday, the other day when it was.
Martin says we need to do one with you where we interview you. I think that's a great idea. Oh, sorry, are the chats popping up on this? Oh, they are. Yeah, okay, that's handy. So I don't have to
that's
look.
good. They didn't do that the other day, so I wonder what's changed there. That's good. Cool. So we can actually see the chats and everything, guys. So yeah, I guess then, mate. I wonder where should we start with you. I think maybe we should do what we did with Martin the other day. So why Liverpool, Seano? Why Liverpool?
That's a good question, but to me, I moved to a street or to our house in a cul-de-sac when I was 3, and there was a lot of kids on that cul-de-sac. There were Spurs fans. There was an Everton fan, believe it or not. There was an Ipswich fan. There was a United fan. So it wasn't a case of you've got to support Liverpool or you got to support United or you got to support Spurs. At that time, there was obviously an Irish connection with Liverpool. Some of my favourite players played for Liverpool Football Club. When Jack Charlton took over as Ireland manager, he was obviously responsible for bringing John Aldridge and Ray Houghton in, and they were 2 of my favourite players, So obviously we had Ronnie Whelan that was at Liverpool the year that I was born. We had Steve Staunton in about 86, I think he joined. So these were...
Hold on a minute, Steve Staunton... Did he leave Liverpool and come back then? Because I remember Steve Staunton when I was a kid as well.
Yeah, he did. He did. He left and then came back. Yeah.
All right then. Okay. I wonder when I'm gonna have to look at that now because I remember him when I was a kid, Steve Staunton. I'm gonna see what.
Yeah, he went. I think he went to Villa. Back. Yeah. I think he may have done 2 stints at Villa, as far as I know.
Oh yeah, he left the year I was born, and then he came back in 1998. Yeah. So he did. We sold him to Aston Villa.
And we did a lot of that actually because Ray Houghton went to Villa as well.
He actually made more appearances at Villa than he did at Liverpool.
Yeah. But we had Lawrence and Beglin. We had all of those players, all of those Irish connections at Liverpool. So that was really what got me supporting Liverpool. It was a choice. I wasn't, at the time there wasn't any kind of peer pressure to support anyone, and even if there was, Liverpool was the team. So it just happened like that.
That's good then. Was there any other team that could have potentially taken over, or it just literally just like there was nothing?
I mean, I one of my best mates at the time was a City fan, and he took me to a City. It was a pre-season friendly. We were playing, I think, or City were playing in the RDS or something like that against Shamrock Rovers or something. And I had no more interest than that. I mean, we had our Republic of Ireland had players like Niall Quinn playing for City at the time.
Nice win, yeah.
So that was all well and good because he was this tall, lanky lad who, I mean, literally you put him in the box and anything that hit off him and go in the net, he was one of those.
He had a good he had a good partnership with Kevin Phillips at Sunderland, didn't
he? Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he did.
yeah.
But no, there was never any club in my. I actually detested United. Absolutely detested United. From a very early age, I just did not like them at all. Did not like them.
That's good then. I mean, Liverpool have got a strong contingent of fans, haven't they, over in Ireland anyway? Like, you talk about it all the time with all the legend stuff you've been over to. And do you think there's like, I might be wrong here because I've not studied this history or anything like that, but is there like sort of a historical relationship as well between the people of Liverpool and the Irish or anything like that? You think? Because it does seem that there is a lot of Irish that support Liverpool. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, we obviously don't like the monarchy. We don't like the establishment, so that comes hand in hand. And I mean, a lot of people traveled from the famine or to escape the famine. Well, it was a fucking genocide. Let's be straight, but escaped the genocide in Ireland and went over to Liverpool to make a living. So that was, there was a lot of Irish roots from there. And one of the biggest cultures in Liverpool City are indeed Irish. You also have like the makeup of the accent where you have a bit of Welsh, a bit of Scottish, a bit of Irish, which makes the Scouse accent. So there's that history too to it. So you do have an awful lot of Irish links to Liverpool.
No, yeah. Martin says here that you became a glory hunter.
I didn't really, because I mean I supported us through Graham Souness, Roy Evans. They were the fucking days. So of anything, I would have probably jumped on if I was a glory hunter. Thanks, Martin. I would have jumped on the back of United, who were coming into their own, and basically we had that 30 years of a drought for the league title.
That's what does my head in when I was a kid. Like, obviously I'm from Leeds and that. And when I was growing up, Leeds was doing well. They were in the Champions League. They had Mark Viduka, Alan Smith, Lee Boyer, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I'm a Liverpool fan. Like I was like the only one in my primary school that was a Liverpool fan. And they were all Leeds fans. Like, hey, why support Liverpool? You're from Leeds. And I was like, I don't have a choice. I didn't know that Leeds existed until I was like at a certain age. And then, I remember when Liverpool started getting into the Champions League and I got called a glory hunter and stuff. And I was just like, I've literally supported Liverpool my whole life. I did. Gavin says, even in Adam and Seano, Robbie Keane for the Ireland. Remember the World Cup in Korea against Germany in the Quinn flick?
I do remember that. Yeah.
What's that? Martin says that his family members are Irish travellers. Silcox Fair.
I did not
Miss
know.
Goose is with us. Hello, guys. I'm just multitasking. I've got yous on while I'm painting my nan's toenails while she eats her chicken dinosaurs. Nah, I'm only meshing. She's locked in the loft till I see fit.
Oh, Miss Goosey.
Sounds like Scott had the same sort of childhood that I did regarding the Liverpool, being a Liverpool fan over here.
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult for us to even, to get to a game, but even to watch a game, because when obviously the Premier League started and Sky Sports started, nobody had that. And then you had to watch Match of the Day. So it kind of really killed off football for a time, until we could get to the fucking pubs or watch it in someone else's house, But it was a difficult time for football.
No, like I say, I'm kind of in the same park with that, because I grew up. I don't want to make this about me, actually. Should we just keep this about you, mate? We might do it about me later on. Keep it about, yeah. I keep going off about stuff about me. Sorry.
No. I like the back and forth.
All right, I'll tell you. So basically, I grew up in a family that was, my dad wasn't around. He left when I was like a year and a half, and I didn't see him again until I turned 18. So my mum, you know, bless her, she was trying her hardest to like make ends meet. So I couldn't really get a lot of chance to watch football unless I went to my grandparents.
Yeah.
So it was match at day for me. I grew up on match of the day. I grew up on the one that was on ITV as well. I can't remember what that one was called. I want to say This Is Football or something like that. And it used to have that guy. He was old when I was a kid, so he might be dead now. But he had like white hair and a white Des Lynam. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I had him. He was like the person who like did that one. So yeah. I watched a lot of stuff like that. Or for me, sometimes yeah, I'm gonna say like if none of my mates are playing out, I would literally be sat at home watching teletext like this.
Yeah. That's basically it.
So yeah. I guess then, Sean, what I want to go into next then is, when did you become as passionate about Liverpool as you did? And I don't want to touch on what you've been involved with, but like, how did you become Seano that we know?
I mean, obviously I mean, I was always very passionate. Anything that I love and passionate about, you know, that's just my nature. Obviously, you know, my family were kind of very much kind of like, well, you're going to appreciate the Irish. You're going to appreciate your country and your culture before you branch out. And I think it was maybe 17 or 18 before I even left on a plane to go to any other country. Well, I went to Jersey on the Channel Islands and whatever, and that was about it. But other than that, that's about as far as I ventured out of Ireland. So there was like obviously GA, you know, I watched a bit of that, played a little bit of it, played left back in the fucking dressing room for most of it. But you know, tried to play hurling, but they could never get a helmet that would fit me. So it like would just hold, you know, sit on me like this. So it was, you know, but I was always very passionate about Liverpool. Obviously, around the Gillette and Hicks days, when they were calling, you know, people the internet Taliban, when we were kind of contacting banks and whatnot to stop Gillette and Hicks from holding on to Liverpool. You could probably say I was more passionate back then, or I started to become more passionate. But yeah, no, I was always buying the latest jersey. Had to get the home kit. Had to get the away kit. Had to get the third kit. You know, my only regret was that I got rid of a lot of those jerseys, and they'd sell like nothing now. So they're priceless. But yeah, I was always very passionate about Liverpool, always. But yeah, it grew gradually as I got older.
Yeah. I don't want to go into the other thing straight away, because I know we're going to be on that a while. But I was actually going to ask you, like, what's the first game you got to go to then? Like, I didn't ask Martin this question because I think I remember him telling me a long time ago. But what was the first game that you actually got a chance to go to?
I wasn't that lucky in terms of getting over to a game until I could actually afford it myself. So it was the first, one of the first games under Rafa. It was Charlton versus Liverpool, where we won, I think, 3-1. And it was the week before Dibble Cisse broke his leg against Blackburn. Jesus. So I remember that well.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Cisse, what a player he could have been, Cisse. Yeah.
He could have been. But the first Premier League game, because I had a deal with a friend of mine, he was a very good friend of mine. He was a United fan. He said, well, right, if you go to Old Trafford, I'll go to Anfield with you. So I says, fair enough. So the first Premier League game I went to see was actually Everton versus United in Old Trafford. So that was like, I'm kind of sitting here. I don't want to pretend that I'm a United fan. Don't want to pretend that I'm an Everton fan, but don't want to be sitting, on my laurels if United score. So it was the last season. Peter Schmeichel was the last season for him. I think that was another 3-1 victory for United. But that was the first Premier League game that I watched. And then I went over, obviously, to watch Charlton versus Liverpool, which was amazing experience. And it was in the Centenary Stand. And I was like about 4 or 5 rows. Yeah, if you remember when we were sitting in the Cop.
Yeah.
About the same amount of rows.
I think I'm in similar area this year when I go to. I'm in the Annie Road stand this year, but I think I'm down at the bottom again. So like similar to where we were in the Cop. So yeah, that should.
If you don't jump out of your seat and do a pitch invasion.
What, with a big AKM LFC flag behind me,
dude? Yeah.
To catch up on some of these comments because I can't just see them. Sorry, man, but this is a lot easier than what I was doing with you, mate. I was back and forth like this. So Gavin says he always remembers watching Liverpool against Celtic the seasons we played them in the UEFA Cup.
Yeah,
always special nights. Scott says that his house didn't get Sky Sports until 2012, mate. I've been there. So it's up until then I was watching Match of the Day. Yep. Miss Guzzi, I miss the feeling we used to have for the first match of the day at the very start of the season. That reminds me of being a kid. Miss Guzzi, like I still do that now. Like I still, for some reason, always go, right, new season. I am watching every match of the day this year. I'm going to watch every single one. And then I watch the first one and then I can't be asked anymore. Can't be bothered. He's got a question for us as well. What first game of the season sticks out the most that was on Match of the Day? Ooh. I don't think I can think of the first game of the season on Match of the Day, but I have lots of Match of the Day memories.
I remember, I think Liverpool were playing Leeds in the Community Shield. And I think it was when Cantona was playing for Leeds. And then he shortly he left then to go to United.
Yeah.
So I remember that. I remember being in a hotel in Wexford, I think it was. And I remember watching that on TV. I
remember a lot of times being at the club down there when my grandma lives. It's not there anymore now. It's like a serviceman's club where, like old people go and play bingo and stuff like that. So she took us there once and she took us there every single weekend, to be fair. And we used to go in the games room, did me, my sister, and my cousins, and Match of the Day would be on. Like, that's how late we'd be out at this club at like 8. Like, it'd be like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And I always remember, and it's not even a Liverpool player. I don't know why I've got this memory in my head. Damien Duff scoring for Blackburn.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I can just picture him scoring and Nick Barmby playing for Everton. Don't know why. Don't know why.
Yeah.
But they're the only memories I can remember when I kid. One other thing, on the back of that though as well, I remember with the whole. I was saying this. I think I said this on the one I did with Martin. Do you remember when the intros to the football shows used to be good? Like, the one that was on ITV, I think it was like the one that was on ITV was like U2, It's a Beautiful Day or something, and that used to be really good. And that was good. And then there was the old Super Sundays, and it was like Tiny Temper and Written in the Stars, and it had like all the pictures of the old players that used to play in the Premier League. And where's that shit gone? Like when I'm sat there watching Super Sunday now, I even missed the fucking Ford Focus adverts. Like, do you know what I mean?
And then when they score a goal, it goes and it comes up goal, and then the screen flips, and then you see a replay. Yeah, I mean that was like the old Sky Sports and Alive and Kicking and all of that, and that was great.
They
That
used
was
to put
great.
so much money into it, but they don't
Yeah.
anymore. And you know another thing as well. Not that I've done this, but when I go around to my mate's house and I watch his dodgy stick and I watch all the streams and everything like that of all the games that I shouldn't be watching, but it's him, not me, it's him. And he was I kind of like watching them when it shows you an advert while the game's playing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't mind them because I sit there and watch it and I go to myself, do you know what? If they did that over here, Sky Sports would be cheap as chips.
Yeah.
Because
it would.
And it doesn't affect the way the game is played. If they did it when someone was about to score, then yeah, of course I'd be fuming. But like I don't know, I think But what have we got going on here? Ricky's with us. All right, fellas, how are we?
All right, Ricky.
He's gonna catch up on what he's missed later on. You didn't miss much, mate. I think you missed the first 5 minutes or something. Martin says we've gone off track. Hey, whoa. I'm the one that's hosting this.
We're just smoothly, you know.
Gavin was gutted when they stopped Match of the Day and started with the Premiership on ITV. Do you mind it? You two did the theme song. That's a beautiful day. Yeah, that's the one we were talking about. Is that what it was called? The Premiership. Is that what I thought it was called?
It could be
something else. I don't know what it was called. 3-3 against Middlesbrough. Miscusi, Ravenel. I remember him.
I remember that very well.
He bald as fuck. He was, wasn't
he? Yeah. No, he was grey. He was grey as
who was the one that had the bald head then? Was that mashed potato or something?
Lombardi.
No, I swear they had a player that was like macaroni, like something like that. What was he called?
Lombardi.
Say it again.
Lombardi. Yeah, he played for. I might get the name slightly mixed up, but I think his name was Lombardi. He played for Middlesbrough.
I'm sure they had a player that began with an M, and it was like macaroni.
The Macarena.
I don't know.
I do remember that 3-3. I think that was an opening game as well. That was.
Ricky says, "What's the best game you've seen in terms of pure football, not necessarily the result?"
The best game on TV, like watching on TV, or actually
in general. I think in general.
But you see, I don't want to go and say Istanbul or the Barcelona game, or you know.
I'm not even thinking of a Liverpool game. To be fair, the first one popped to my head when I saw that was when Germany absolutely battered Brazil in World Cup, like 7-0.
Yeah.
That popped in my head straight away. Yeah. Scott says that Written in the Stars was the best intro ever. Yes, it was. I actually showed my Becky like an extended version of it. I was like, watch this. This was ace. Gavin said even the commentary was better that he found. Yeah, well, they don't have them people anymore, mate, do they? Could you imagine if Nunes missed a chance and an advertisement comes on for Specsavers? That'd be funny as all that way. Ricky did mean for Liverpool. All right, okay. So for Liverpool then.
There's a few. Like, I mean, Dortmund, the game against Dortmund, the game against Barcelona, the game against AC, at Istanbul, West Ham in the FA Cup, Juventus, the Real Madrid, when we hammered Real Madrid.
I've got another one that's not even Liverpool again that popped straight at me head again, and it was the El Clasico when Ronaldo and Messi were both at their peaks, and Messi just came alive and just took over that game. I think he took the ball around Casillas and scored a goal or something. That was an incredible game, was that? Which kind of remembers me of like it kind of ties into what I was saying to Martin the other day about my passion for football. And I used to be into everything. Like, I used to be like watching Spanish football a lot, but I'm just not anymore. I just don't. But anyway, Seano, then we're 25 minutes into this and we haven't even spoke about it yet. How, what, why, what are the origins of Fenway We Come Not to Pay?
Well, so, I mean, I haven't talked about Fenway We Come Not to Pay in years. It's kind of like a monkey that I kind of want to shake off my back, but something that I was always told that I'd be a good commentator of things, you know, of football and what have you. And obviously, we had fought tooth and nail as a collective, as a united um, fan base. For the first time in a long, long time, you saw a fan base that were adamant in getting Gillette and Hicks out of the club. And we finally did it. And there was an amazing, we just felt that so much time had been wasted. We had been lied to so many times. And we just felt that we had slipped so far that it was a case that we really needed to kind of hit the ground running with the new owners. So when I heard that they were American, I didn't Scott out with the popcorn. When I heard that they were American, I didn't, you know, say, oh well, they are our saviors. You know, I didn't go and start, oh, we love you, John, or any of that crap. I just said, well, look, we don't know anything about this fan base. And I thought, well, I'm not going to jump into anything. I'm not going to make my decision on them just quite yet. They've bought over a club. They bought a club on the steal. You know, a club that is worth a lot more than what they actually got it for. And I thought, well, right, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They took over, what was it, October 2010.
Jesus Christ, it's been that long already.
I started Fenway We Come Out to Pay 2012.
Okay.
And the origins from it were basically, oh, I was watching, and here's another plug for Dunk from Cop Talk. He did a video, and I don't think I've seen him as passionate as that ever again, and as riled up as he was in this particular video. And it was a video where he was like, he was so angry the fact that we weren't willing to spend an extra 2 million to get a player in, and that was Clint fucking Dempsey, you know. And I felt, you know, the way you kind of sit back and you look at someone else saying things and what have you, and then you kind of say to yourself, well, do you know what, I would have added this in here, and I would have said this, and I would have done that better, and whatever. And that's no criticism of Dunk. He knows my views of him, and and I know his views of me, whatever, fine. But that sparked me off to do Fenway We Come Not to Pay. And originally it was a Facebook page. It was Fenway or FSG, the new Gillette and Hicks, which went down like a fucking lead balloon because, you know, and rightly so, it was badly titled. There was a few people that jumped on board. We had this Warrior promo for Warrior jerseys. We come not to pay, or we come not to play, which was by far one of the worst promotions I've ever come across. What do you come to do? You come to sit in your laurels and do nothing, or what? Like why? You know. So we played on that. We said Fenway, we come not to pay, because I had seen enough of them, even back then, to kind of make an educated guess.
Can I just come in a little bit before you keep going?
You can.
I want to ask you a question, because obviously you said they came in 2010 and you didn't start Fenway We Come Not to Pay till 2012. The first transfer window they had was obviously the January one, where they let Fernando Torres go. They signed Luis Suarez, Andy Carroll, and then the summer window they had Downing, Charlie Adam, whatever the rest of them were. What was your thoughts around that time when you actually saw how much they were spending? Or did you just not have any thoughts?
Well, I did. I mean, I was like, back then we had Damien Comoli, and we heard quite a lot of soundbite from Tom Warner saying, you know, talking about Moneyball, talking about we've got to bring in players with the intention of getting a better resale value. And my attitude was, oh, hold on a second. If you're building for the future, why are you looking for a better, to get a better resale value later on? And at that stage, I was looking at the net spend. And from what I could gather, we weren't spending as much money as it was advertised. We just weren't. We were bringing in players, like obviously we brought in Milner, and I had question marks over it. I mean, Charlie Adams. I mean, I'm sorry, but like, there was no way that he was cutting it. Stuart Downing, all of these players, they just weren't cutting it. I mean, I didn't see any potential in the players that we were bringing in. We brought in Roy Hodgins, who, like, I think at that stage had gone way past his sell by date. Wasn't a Liverpool manager in my eyes. Just wasn't.
To be fair, before you go any further, Roy Hodgson, I think around about that time had taken Fulham to like European football, I think, and got quite far in one of the European Cups. Yeah. So there was that there, but I get your point.
He wasn't a Liverpool.
Yeah, I agree, but I just
wasn't
to be
a Liverpool
fair,
manager. Fulham and Liverpool worlds apart. But I mean, I get what you're saying, but it was just gradual things, and it was just sound bites that were coming from FSG, coming from Comoli. And then as I did a bit of research into it, I kind of thought, oh, this isn't good. This is not good. At that stage, we had a team in Fenway would come not to pay. We started doing YouTube videos, which was completely out of my comfort zone. I was sitting up on my bed, with wearing a jacket and that was it. Like, I was completely naive doing this YouTube thing. I had no idea. I had no idea the implications of it, whatever. But we did do a lot of research. People, got on and became an admin. It was myself and Lee, who I think eventually we're going to do a show with Lee. He was one of he was my right hand man before there was Martin. Lee played a massive part in it, and we had other people that kind of came in and whatever, and weren't as sincere and weren't as genuine and wanted to kind of do something to kind of massage their own ego, whatever. But it was myself and Lee that did the YouTube part of it. I forgot your question.
It was just about like what they'd done with like the spending of the money they'd done before, and like what were your thoughts then? Because I'll add this bit to it, and I know you won't agree with this, and a part of me don't agree with this also, but there is a part of me that does think that summer window and the signing of Andy Carroll has stunned FSG since then. Like, I know we sold Fernando Torres and we got 50 mil and we went and bought Suarez and Carroll. Then we went and spent more money in the summer. I've always thought that because them players did not perform and the money they spent, that's when they kind of went, whoa, what the fuck? Hold on a minute. Let's bring Michael fucking Edwards in, or whoever it was. Damien Comoli can go. He don't know what he's talking about. And let's actually start being a little bit more with this money, because there's no way we're continuing to spend X amount of money on players. They're just going to turn out to be crap.
But where I don't get the logic in that. Like, I mean, if you bring in players that don't work out, do you stop buying players? Of course not. You just
no. But I mean, what I think is, I think they've come in. I think I don't know if I'm explaining it properly. I think they came in with potentially intention of putting a bit of money in, and then if you list the players that we did, so like Carroll, 35 million, sold him, fucked off. Downing, 20 million, didn't last. Henderson, 16 million, future captain, won everything with us, fine, good signing. Charlie Adam, 16 million, again, I think 8 million, whatever that was. he was a dud. He only lasted one season. Christian Paulsen. Like,
Yeah,
how much money they spent on him? Voronin, yeah, how much money they spent on him? Like, I think if you go through the list of players that they bought at that time for the amount of money they paid, I don't think they expected them to fail, because I think they were listening to Damien Comolli, and credit to him, he got one right. Jordan Henderson, the rest of them, apart from Luis Suarez, were shit.
Yeah, but I mean, if you listen to Damien Comolli, he'll tell you a different story, and perhaps maybe, obviously he would, to try and cover his own ass. But I mean, there were rumors that Edwards was going for Comolli's head, even when Comolli was in power. I'll be very straight with you. I don't know back then. I couldn't list off the net spend back then, because all of that back then was a complete blur to me. At the time, I was on key, I was on cue. I knew exactly what was coming in, what was coming out. I did the maths. The group did the maths, and we presented that to people. I think that FSG always came into Liverpool with the intention of using Moneyball. The financial fair play was always a smokescreen for them. They always intended to use Moneyball policies. That was, and they do that to this day. They do Moneyball policies. So I don't think that first season, or the first two seasons, or the first two transfer windows made any difference to their policy, because they have not changed one iota, not one.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, to a point. I mean, I'm just trying to find now who it was they signed, because I was on a website then about it, and I just sorry, but as I was looking for this, someone actually put up. Apparently, there's a story going around that Liverpool are going to spend 200 million this summer. Like, Jesus
Yeah, but
Christ.
I mean, it's the same shite that we've heard every season. Do you know what I mean? And then we get let down.
This isn't the same window. I don't know. It'll take me a while to find it, but I'll have a look and see if I can find it for you. It'd be 2011 to 2012, wasn't it? So, but yeah, I think, yeah, go on, Sean, mate. I know, like, I'm kind of. Oh, here we go. So we bought Downing for 20, Jordan Henderson for 16, Sebastian Cortez for 10, Charlie Adam for 6, Jose Enrique for 6, Craig Bellamy on a free transfer, Donny on a free transfer, and I think that's about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're the players that came in that window.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, mate, I derailed you. So continue with, like, your effort, from where we come not to pay history.
So we basically started growing the group. We started doing YouTube channels, or YouTube videos, myself and Lee, and we started digging up, a bit of dirt on FSG, and not for the one. We didn't just decide to Google what dirt do you have on FSG. We just did our research into FSG, and other people then came to me with a few other things. The court case, the Supreme Court case that was going over in New York about the purchase of Liverpool, the emails that were going back and forth from NESV. They were called New England Sports Venture at the time.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I couldn't even remember what. Now you said that, I was thinking they weren't called FSG to start with, were they? So
No,
yeah.
New England Sports Venture, and because they had the New England Patriots at the time. So there was a lot of stuff that was kind of coming together, and a lot of the stuff. I mean, you had Tom Warner, who had the San Diego Padres, and there's a thing, if people want to look it up, the fire sale of '93, where he offloaded a shitload of players and then brought in young lads, which nearly destroyed. I mean, people were absolutely livid, because there were some star players at that time, and they were offloaded. So, that was what we come to expect from FSG. 15 years later, that's what we expect from FSG. That's what we get from FSG. obviously when we were doing our YouTube channel, I mean, we had abuse. We had trolls target us. And at the time, myself and Lee kind of took it on the chin. Myself and Lee would kind of have this kind of game of who could throw out the worst insult or the best insult or the funniest insult. And by doing that, we completely naive just got them just to attack us even more. And that's what happened. That's what happened. 3 years into it, was probably, I probably should have hit it on the head at that stage. It got into a shit show. It got really bad, really quickly.
And I guess let's get into some of these comments, mate, because I know this is gonna. I just want to give you a bit of a break because I know this is gonna thingy. Gavin says, I don't want to bring this up, but that's why FSG get away with what they do. The fans won't act in a way you did, Seano. It saddens me to think you were abused and not thanked. Scott says, the fact that Charlie Adam graced the Anfield pitch in a red shirt is criminal. Saw him at one of the Legends games, barely able to run. Don't think he was much fitter back in 2011. Gavin says, I remember the summer it was Rodgers or Martinez for Liverpool job, and the pictures of Henry walking down a Boston Street with Martinez. None of them should have been appointed. Yeah. And Scott says, I think he said something similar to me on his podcast. That original investment in the squad backfired. Yeah. Maybe that's, I remember you saying that, mate. Yeah, I do remember you saying that. I haven't prepped you for this question, but it's just popped in my head now, mate. If you don't want to answer it, you don't have to answer it, because obviously, remember, this is obviously going to go public or whatever in a couple of weeks. So don't feel pressured to answer if you don't want to. Where do you think, or do you know, the most of the hate came from, and the most vile of it? Was it, this maybe tie into the topic we've talked about the other day on Monday? Was this from people in Liverpool and stuff like that, the other YouTube channel or whatever? Where did the majority of the worst bits of hate you were getting coming from?
Well, I mean, I can tell you that there was quite a lot from a particular group in Oxfordshire, and they spent, I say, the best part of their own lives creating profiles and you know, getting into someone else's ear, getting into someone others' ears and whatever, creating websites, trying to, you know, break into my account, trying to hack me. Like, I was going through, it was probably the worst time of my life, if I'm honest with you. And I'm not looking for sympathy or anything like that. I don't want it off complete and utter strangers or anybody. I don't think that's productive. But I was going through quite possibly one of the worst times in my life. I was going through a breakup. I was losing an aunt who was like a mother. I was losing my apartment. I was having to move back home. And all through all of this, I was getting online harassed. You know, I mean, you talk about cancel culture. I was getting all sorts of you know, horrible stuff thrown at me. People commenting on mental health, people commenting on, you know, relationships, people commenting on my looks, people commenting on, you know, whatever they could fucking get at me, they did. And I remember, I think the breaking point for me was at my aunt's funeral. And I just turned on the phone for a split second, and I was getting beep, 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 beep. And it was these trolls trying to break into my account. And I remember ringing Lee, and I said, Lee, please, you need to ring the police, because I'm going to, you know, I was so upset, you know, over losing my aunt. And I was trying to fucking, you know, keep it together on top of everything else. And this was the stuff that was, you know, I had to get someone to sort it out for me. And fair play to Lee, he did. He went to the police with it. we had caught some of them, but they kept at it again. They kept at it again. And when I contacted them, they didn't want to know because I was Irish, you know. But it was,
Um,
it was,
I just
it
want to
was
say it
beautiful.
before you go any further, mate. You are probably one of the kindest people I know. I know me and Martin spoke about it, but I want to say it to your face as well. Like, you are one of the kindest people I know. It's hard, difficult for me to sit here and listen to the shit you've gone through. You've already told me about some of it in the past. You know, you reached out to me before you even knew who I was to start telling me about the shit that may come my way, because I started a YouTube channel and I speak my mind. I don't hold nothing back or anything like that. And I've always appreciated that from you. And the fact that, like, that people would drop that low and everything like that over a fucking opinion. Like, it's an opinion backed up by facts. I would love to fucking sit down with those lads, not nothing like violent or anything like that, and be like, what's your opinion of FSG now? And another thing as well, like, it popped in when you were talking, I was like, what were they gaining from that? What was the end game? Because they're not going to get in with fucking FSG. FSG don't give a fuck. It's like I was listening to something earlier on today on TalkSport, and it was no, it wasn't TalkSport, it was the club, and they were talking about this protest that happened at Spurs. And I don't agree with everything that Rory says. I don't know if you've heard of Rory. I can't remember his last name, but he's on TalkSport sometimes. He supports Chelsea. Don't agree with everything he comes out with, but he does say some good stuff every now and again. And he actually turned around and said, because obviously the Chelsea supporters are now protesting against their owner from the whole ticket thing that's going on. And he just turned around and went, you know what? These billionaires don't give a fuck.
They don't.
Like,
they don't
if people are he said, at the end of the day, that stadium's still going to be full. The only way you would affect these billionaires if nobody bought a ticket and nobody went to the game. They don't give a fuck. Like, for me, I've always kind of thought this myself.
Yeah.
When people buy tickets, go to the game, but then walk out. What the fuck does that do? You've given your fucking money.
Yeah. The walkout.
It's pointless.
The walkout of the 77th minute. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, these were all things that I said was going to happen. I mean, that we said was going to happen. Fenway would come out to pay wasn't just me. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people assumed that because I was the one that created the channel, created the group, that it was just me. It wasn't just me. There was a group of us, you know. But I mean, you know, going back to the abuse, I mean, after my aunt had passed away, there was pictures of her circulated on the internet. There was pictures of my parents' house with flames drawn out of it and "See you next Tuesday" written on it. A couple of weeks later, there was a fire. Someone lit the ditch on fire outside of our house. And of course, we thought that this is one of the trolls that are coming up and doing that to my parents' house. I had to go up to my cousins and say, listen, I'm really, really sorry, but your late mother has been circulated all over the internet because they hate me, because they don't agree with my opinion. And I had gone through 3 or 4 years of that before I blew up, before I decided I'm not taking it. I'm not taking it. And I could have been, I'd say, a few WWE promos with, I was so angry. I was so angry. I was like, do you realize the hurt that you're causing other people because you don't agree with me? Do you realize that I love this club as much as you do, and you're doing this to my family? You're doing this to people that may not even support Liverpool, that have just buried their mother, and you're putting up pictures of her to try and hurt me, but you're hurting them. And then these people, and I mean, there was, like, you know, I had run-ins with I was interviewed by Craig, who at the time, Craig Holden from Anfield Agenda. He had a channel called Anfield Wolves. At the time, he wasn't FSG out. He had no, like, he did an interview, and fair play to him. He did an interview with people who were pro FSG, and myself and another guy, Stefan, or AKA DJ Selecta Skills. And We were anti-FSG. The conversation was grand. The debate was grand. But after that, the abuse that him and myself got afterwards, including racist remarks, was nothing short of disgusting. Nothing short of disgusting. People, people I didn't even know on a YouTube channel that would put up, on behalf of Liverpool Football Club, or on behalf of the Irish fans, I'd like to apologise for Sean. And pictures of me with my eyes going on about my mental health. They did not give a single fuck about my mental health or my family's mental health or what they were going through. And yet they react to my reaction to their behavior like a typical narcissist. They react towards my behavior and how I react after 3 or 4 years of non-stop abuse. And all I did and all I wanted was the very best for Liverpool. I didn't want us to go further down, the pecking order. But I tell you, Adam, that's why I was like, people constantly were, contacting me, get Fenway, we come out to pay back together. Get Fenway, we come out to pay back together. I had no intention of ever getting them back. No intention whatsoever. It was a nightmare for me. It was a nightmare. I was so naive. I bit. I fucking reacted. But when you bring a man's family into it and bring, his elderly parents into it, and a poor unfortunate woman who went through cancer and passed away, and in a horrible way too, God rest her. There was no, she was a bloody good, decent person, and there was no one better than her. And she did not deserve that. She didn't deserve it. And that's what made me angry. And I've one apology to make, that I went for one person who I thought was associated with that. And his name is Gavin. And I apologize to him. Now, he won't accept my apology, and that's fine. That's fine. He was genuine. The rest of them weren't. So that's it's I mean, for someone to tell me that I'm not a loyal supporter or that I don't love this club, I could have lost everything. I could have lost everything.
Sean, mate, you are the you love this club more than anybody I fucking know, mate.
But I mean, but like the thing was, Adam, like I had people contacting the place I worked.
Yeah.
And I had people that literally blackmailed that company. Yeah. Literally blackmailed that company and had made allegations very, very serious about me. And luckily enough, I was looking to leave the bloody place anyway. But my God, the pain that caused me and my family, I'll never forgive them, ever. And I mean, when we were doing a protest, we had a official supporters group in the north of Ireland, and I don't mind saying it, actually report the Merseyside police and have the Merseyside police call up to Martin's house a week before he got married. And I was on holiday with my parents at the time. I had to contact the Merseyside police. I had to, say to my parents, okay, now hold on a second, guys. I really have to go up to my hotel room. And I had made phone calls. I had to do letters and forms and whatever to make sure that Martin didn't get in any trouble. But that was the sort of abuse that this, we talk about you'll never walk alone. We talk about the Shankly way. You don't talk to me about that if you were part and parcel and you got involved in that, because that was horrible. And, there are people, there are YouTube channels, they will talk about toxicity. Toxicity, believe it or not, was both ways. It was those who, sung off the same hymn sheet, those who, that the corporate told the liners, who said what the club wanted them to say in order to keep their perks. Those people that ridiculed, and still do to this day, anyone that opposes these owners must be virgins living at home in their parents' house. That's not the way that you treat fellow Reds. It's just not. And, you know.
It's fucking mad, mate. I mean, sorry, mate. I just...
No, I mean, what can you say?
You're such a nice bloke, mate, and I can't literally, like... I want to ask you this one question before I go through some comments. Has the thought ever, and this might be a fucking stupid question, so if it is, just tell me. Has the thought ever crossed your mind that people associated with the club, that work at the club, could have been involved behind the shit that you got? And if so, and if you found that out, would that change your love for the club?
The corporate end of the club is not the club. The club for me is the people and the players and the coach.
Okay.
And the fans. The corporation, the corporate end of things, the stewardships, the people, the custodians of a club are completely separate to the club itself and what it stands for.
I mean, just like, what about people that work there though? No matter who the owners are, like, you know, I'm not trying to push you away from the club, but you know, just to throw one out there, the stadium speaker, like, you know, the announcer, the stadium announcer, someone like that. If someone like that's been there through Hicks and Gillette, fucking FSG, if someone like that was involved with the shit you got, or in any way, would that affect the love you had for the club?
No, because that's a person. Do you know what I mean? Because I mean, if I was to be affected, if my love, like, I'll be very straight with you. There was times I couldn't even get out of bed and watch a game of football. I couldn't even watch Liverpool. I couldn't even watch football because it reminded me so much of what I was going through. And I mean, like I said to you, you can only push a man so far until he then reacts.
Yep.
And when I reacted, then they honed in on that and say, "Oh, look at this! Isn't he a disgrace?" That was brought up once in a YouTube channel, and I was like, "Do you not remember your own behavior?" So-called big YouTube channels that were partly an Irish YouTube channel, or parts of that YouTube channel that were responsible for that. Yeah.
Okay. I can't even remember where up to all these comments. Scott says it's disgusting you had to go through that, Seano, mate. End of the day, it's just sport / football. There's more to life than football opinions, exactly. Miss Guzzi says, bloody hell, Seano, wow. Gavin, that's absolutely disgusting, Seano. That's gutting to think that there's scum that would feel that way. I'm so glad you've come out the other side. Ricky says a lot about your character, how you are, where you are today after all that, Seano. Big respect. You're fighting for the proper fans and you've educated a lot of people on this. And actually, you have. That's that last bit there. There's a lot of people that won't know about a lot of shit if it weren't for you, mate.
I appreciate that.
Miss Guzzi with scum. Miss Guzzi again, Sean. That would tip any normal man over the edge. You've handled it better than most. Gavin, Seano, there's limits we all have before we crack. You're not a bad person, mate. Please keep remembering that.
Appreciate that.
Martin, you're an amazing mate. I'm literally broken here, mate.
Martin, I mean, he knows. I mean, he was part of that. And, you know, it was like, and I mean, I know that people that came into Fenway with Come Not to Pay during the end had no idea and often rebelled against me or gave out shite to me. And I get where they're coming from. You know, I don't have any bad wishes towards you know, the one or two people that came in, but there were some people that came in that were only in it for themselves. but those who said, no, Sean, you got to do it this way, you got to stop, you know. And I was gung ho. I It got to the state I couldn't even go out without like my phone blown up, pictures of my parents' house, pictures of my aunt, pictures of me, profiles made of me. I mean, sweet suffering Jesus. I had like a file about this fucking thick of just one group that dedicated their time. They wasted their life that, you know, targeting me. And I'm a nobody. I mean, I'm a Liverpool supporter. I'm no different to you. I'm no different to Martin. I'm no different to anybody. I'm not, you know, on this channel, or I was never on any channel to have me balls tickled and say, God, you're a great person. That never bothered me. I did something because I felt strongly about it. And I don't want to be part of the FSG out parade or group, because I see there's toxicity on both sides. One cannot say that the other is more toxic than the other. But what I will say to you is the toxicity started from the journalists, from those podcasters and those YouTubers that started, you know, getting personal, started creating divides within the fan base. That's what rattled things. And that's why you have what you have today. And I don't know whether it's worse. That's why I'll never get back on X. There's some crazy cow in the back arse of Ireland that is claiming that she knows the members of Fenway we come out to pay, and we've never been to a game in our lives and all of this shit. She'd be sadly mistaken if she saw my plaque up on the mural of Champions Wall, or my fucking name engraved in the main stand.
Whoa. Before we go any further, let's just tell the story of the last time me, you, and Martin went to Anfield. Well, the first time we went to Anfield, and we spent about 20 minutes looking for your fucking name on the floor.
Yeah.
But then we go to this massive mural at the side, and
there
he goes,
he is.
I'm there, lads. I'm there.
Yeah. I have to say the Anfield Forever Stones haven't been kept very well. So I had no fucking clue where it was. But in all of the other times, especially the time that I brought my father over, he's like, there he is. You know, and he's the one with the glasses and I don't. So I mean, you know, but you know.
Let's catch up with some of these comments again, mate. If as well, guys, make sure you're hitting that like button. I know it's a members video, but it will be going public. So if you hit the like button, it'll help with the algorithm. And those as well. I actually do say as well, like, I think there's not many people that hit the like button on my videos. We need to get that fucking number up, guys.
Yeah, get that shit sorted.
If you watch my videos and you don't hit that like button, Martin, you're a prick. I'm joking. So Miss Goose says, lads, if we win the fucking league, are we all meeting up yet? So Miss Goose, Sean has already booked his flights.
I ain't waiting around for no one. I mean, I've spent an absolute fucking fortune. And then again, if someone wants to question, you know, well, you know, out of towners and all this shit, I'm after spending an absolute fortune, and I'm not waiting around for anybody. I'm going to be there. So that's it.
Yeah. So yeah, Miss Goosey, I'll be there. I'm pretty sure Martin will be there. And then Seano's obviously going to be there. So yeah, if anybody wants to come along with us and meet us during the parade or whatever, we'll be there, mate. We'll do a AKM LFC fucking piss up or something around, and then go watch the parade or something. And we're definitely up for that, mate. And as I say, Seano's going to be there. Seano's kind of open at the parade the day after the game, because if not, he's fucked.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm there till Tuesday. So, and my flight on Tuesday, I think, is about 11 o'clock. So I'm fucking hoping that it's either Monday or the fucking Tuesday. Because if it's any other fucking day, I'll be like, work, can I have an extra day off? In fact, I might just book it just in case, because I'm fucking shitting it now, to be honest with you. But even just to be over in Anfield, because I mean, obviously we weren't there for when we won it during COVID. And to me, it would be such an amazing thing to be there when we win it, if we win it.
Yeah, well, He does actually add there, and even if we don't, in fact, so might be a good idea as well. Like, end of the year celebration. I mean, like, even if we don't go on to win the title, we've had a good season, first under Slot. I mean, who would have thought that when Klopp handed in his notice this time last year? So, Ricky says everyone a part of this community obviously recognizes and appreciates you, Seano. But I hope one day the rest of the people learn what a top bloke is. What a top bloke you are one day.
I do look like a block at times. I mean, I've seen people a couple of months back saying, "Oh, Shano's well known in the community." It's like, what fucking community am I in? Like, what's this about? And for being negative and anti-FSG and blah blah blah, and yeah.
Miss Scusi says FSG out. Ricky again says, I'm with Miss Scusi and meet would you be great. I've never met any of you personally yet. I feel like we've been friends for years. I kind of feel the same with Sean and Martin. Like, I think I've only met you guys in person, twice now? 3 times, maybe?
3 times, yeah. 3 times, because obviously we went over for Toby's.
Yeah. So, and I feel the same.
Yeah.
Look, I talk to you every Monday.
And I mean, yeah, you probably talk to me more than most people talk. I mean, Martin as well. I mean, like the one positive thing out of Fenway we come not to pay is that I've actually made some really, really good friends out of it. And if it weren't for that, but would I do it all again? Probably not, because it was a very, very, and I mean, I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers. I'm not here to kind of open up the wounds and start up, a fight with those who have fought with me and whatever in the past. If you're into that sort of shit, go back to what I was like a couple of years back. That person ain't there anymore. I've no interest in it. I'm, from Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, I do my job, and I stick to that and whatever. And I then do this, and I watch football, and I go about and I do things. I'm not as committed to the FSG out thing. The first and foremost, and I know that we had someone on here saying that you're FSG out first and then a Liverpool fan first. No, that's not correct. I am a Liverpool fan, true. And I may not get over to Anfield as many times as most, but one thing is for fucking sure, I get over a lot more than John W. Henry and Tom Warner do. But there was part of me that made I actually wanted to apologize to FSG, to Linda Peruzzi Henry, and I actually sent her a message, and I said, because I know that she took some slack, and it's not really down to her what her husband and friends do. She is part of that, but she's the only one that is actually active and actively supporting Liverpool, where the others couldn't give a fucking shit. But I actually apologized to her, and just for my own fucking peace of mind, just so that, look, I don't want to be part of this anymore. I don't want to be the spokesperson or the figurehead or the whatever you want to fucking call me. I don't want to be part of that. I want to enjoy my football, but I will call a spade, and I will say to you that I feel that we could do it far better.
Yeah, we can. I've always said they're not the worst, but they're not the best either. We've got to bear that in mind, and everything they've done is a positive is to further their interests in the future, to get as much maximum value they can get for the club when they do eventually sell it. And I know, Gavin, you always mention stuff to me like, you'll send me a message like, "Oh, is this going to mean that they're going to sell?" And it's like, "No, mate, no." But one day, I promise you, Gavin, probably in our lifetime, because fucking John Henry ain't got long left to live. Let's be fucking honest.
He might have fucking outlived a lot of us at this rate.
I don't mean that as in like a bad way against him.
No.
I'm just saying. But when in our lifetime, Gavin, we will see new owners at Liverpool. Probably, I'm actually going to say, I reckon within before the end of this decade, before 2030, Liverpool will have new owners.
Well, I think if the whole financial sustainability thing, the Premier League and Man City court case, if that goes belly up and the Premier League lose that, I think FSG may be packing up a lot sooner. But it's hard. It's hard to know. I mean, I don't really know the plans. I mean, the one thing that I haven't mentioned, the one thing that I you know, I briefly mentioned the told the liners. Anyone that hears me talking about told the liners, it's been proven that if your YouTube channel covers Liverpool, or if you're a journalist, that you have to told the line in order to keep your perks, keep your exclusives. It has been proven, absolutely proven. If you want to go back to the first episode that we did of the after hours, the video or the interview that we did with Frank Carlisle, you know, I know Frank and I don't see eye to eye. Fair enough, that's grand. But Frank was part of Merseyside Radio. He was part of LFC TV. He said something that they didn't agree with, and he's no longer working with them. He doesn't mind me saying that because it's something that he already said. So I'm just quoting him verbatim what he said. And to me, this is the one thing that worries me, but I am starting to see a shift. Journalists, and there's a great quote here I'm going to read out. A journalist is someone who is naturally skeptical and doesn't hold to one position. They are not controlled by elite opinion. A journalist is meant to exist on the margins and accept social isolation. Now, how many Liverpool journalists, Liverpool YouTubers, especially the top 2 or 3, can you say don't hold on to one position, aren't controlled by the elite and elite opinion? How many of them can you say? The further that you leave them, the more likely you're to find the actual truth. And that's what I have found.
You actually mentioned an interesting fact earlier on.
Yeah.
Around, we won't name any names, but we can name the numbers. What you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
There is, if you say it, people will know who you're talking about. So there is 2 big Liverpool YouTube channels out there that have got, one of them's got 500 odd thousand subs and one's got 100 and some subs, right?
One of them has, so there's really 2 YouTube channels, or 2 of the main ones that, let's say, do tours and what have you. They also do collaborations with each other, do collaborations with reporters and what have you. And they were the 2 top ones. And what I have seen, and just today, was there's a major shift. Now, I don't know whether their subscription has gone down or it's just remained the same. But what we're actually seeing is obviously the top one remains the same. The one that was at number 2 has gone down the pecking order. It's not even in the top 4 or 5. I'm allowed to mention This Is Anfield because This Is Anfield don't really sort of have an opinion. They're very kind of unbiased. They report things here and there. It's not opinions. It's just, well, this is this and that's that, and that's, so they have 319,000 subscribers. The one closest to that is actually an Irish channel. Now, probably not the most popular in terms of what people think of them. And bear in mind, this particular person was an FSG out a few years back, but certainly is now. And he has more subscribers than the one that was in the top 2 that's gone down the pecking order. So there's definitely a shift. And I'm starting, I think that says it all, really. I think people want to have a different alternative to just the same positive PR shite. You know,
Yeah.
it's you know, so and I think you may see a shift in that in a couple of years again.
Yeah, I reckon you are right. And it'd be good for us to get up to that level as well.
It'd be fucking amazing, yeah. It'd be amazing. I think we might need to get a little bit more fucking
savvy.
Well, not savvy, but fucking savage more so. I think maybe, I don't know, but bring back the old Sean. I don't know, but yeah.
I'm just going to share a link, guys, because since you guys are like the most obviously committed to the channel, you're here watching a members only video and stuff like that first. I'm just going to share a link in the chat, and it's for a Discord that I've started. Me and Sean are the only members in it so far. So you can keep in contact with us, send us stuff like news and that. We can chat about anything Liverpool. It might help as well you guys to communicate with each other as well and get to know each other a little bit more. So there's the link, guys. It's in the chat now. If you click on that, copy it, whatever, you should be able to join us in the Discord chat. It's the AKM LFC server. Me and Sean are in there already. So yeah, click that and join us, and we can start chatting and get to know each other a bit more. I mean, Muscooge's idea of having a meet up and everything, like we spoke about it ourselves, but it's good to see the people in the community also talking about it. Well, I've got a chance
already.
I've got a chance, Sean. I've got a chance, Sean. I do have something I need to tell you.
Okay.
So I've been sent this text message.
Oh wow. Okay.
From Martin. And
Martin Mason.
Yes, and he's asked me to read this out to you.
Okay.
He's basically said, I've got to tell you how amazing you are, and you are from me as well. You are an amazing person, Seano. His family have adopted you, and they all love you so much. And I second every word of that, mate. Like, you are like a friend that I've known for years for me. Like, I used to watch. I remember.
You're gonna get me fucking emotional here,
mate. I remember, and to be fair, I remember I just broke up with an ex. I was sleeping at my mate's house, and I found Fenway we come not to pay. I remember being laid on my bed watching your videos. I wasn't doing anything else, I promise. And then and just listen, and I subbed to you, mate. And I was on every video. I was watching you, and then obviously I didn't know you at the time, and then it just vanished.
Yeah, I mean, it literally vanished at a Christmas party for the work that I was in, because I just said, right, that's it. And I deleted every fucking mention of it. I mean, I know that there's that particular crowd in Oxford. They have, I think, a next channel or X group, and they have, I think, a YouTube channel which is taking the piss out of Fenway we come not to pay, and that's all right if they you know, if they want to continue that would be their legacy, which isn't really, you know, isn't really up to much, to be honest with you. I would want more for people than to be kind of chasing after me, but I mean, the best thing that ever happened for me was yourself and Martin. Martin, like, when I went over with my dad to see Liverpool versus Southampton, he actually came up to the hotel, so he met my father and whatever. And since then, although, I mean, I have to, I got over the fact that Toby tried to delete all my fucking videos. 3 or 4 fucking years worth of shit. But I mean, I've known Toby even without knowing him since he was a little toddler. And, you know, although I'm not related to him in any way, to see him, you know, come through all of that he's gone through, to see him, you know, go from football to boxing, to get the, you know, the real kickback that he got, and the real just what a horrible thing that happened in London, not just for him but for the poor guy. This went into cardiac arrest, and thankfully he's okay from what I know. But for then Toby to come back and to fight in Liverpool, and to do it so convincingly. I don't think I've been prouder of anyone. And also to see Martin and Gemma and the way Martin has been with Toby and his his own kids as well. It's just I mean, you go through your shit, but fuck me, they are united. Not Man United, but a united family, and it's just so refreshing to see.
I've after Toby's first fight, when you saw like the enjoyment, the relief, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but the emotion that swept over everybody, including Toby himself.
Yeah.
And the fact he had like his brother in his corner as well, like such a fucking strong family. Like honestly, like amazing. And Martin again, obviously, stepdad and that, and he's amazing and stepping up and everything like that. Like, I had a stepdad myself, and it is hard when you do that because you don't know where to stand. And everything. Like, I'm a fucking stepdad.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to like know where you stand and everything with stuff like that. So, all power to Martin for that as well, and Toby as well. Like, I know he's got a second fight coming up. I don't think I'll be able to make it this time, but I'm going to be streaming it anyway. I've just seen that link that's in the thing where we can stream it. So I'll be paying for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And honestly, I wish Toby all the best in the future for his boxing, because you can just tell how much it means to him. And he puts so much time, so much effort and dedication into just becoming a better person and better version of himself and learning to be a boxer and learning. Like, the fact that he came in so late into, well, not late, but like, so, at a later time in his life, he hasn't done it all his life, focusing on football, and he's just coming to this, and I just hope it goes for him. I really do, Toby. Like, if you're watching this, mate, with Martin, because I know Martin sat there watching it. He's been sending pictures. Toby, mate, honestly, I wish you all the best for the future in your boxing, lad. And, the world's your oyster, pal. Fucking grasp it, get on with it and go in, do it. You've got the dedication. You've got the fucking, I ain't taking the piss here, but you've got the fucking charisma and the fucking ego to just fucking go and do it, lad. Go smash this other lad in your next fight, right? And just fucking keep going up that fucking ladder, and just do it for yourself and do it for everybody else that's been around you, mate, because you've got the support of your family, you've got support of me and Seano and all your friends and all your family and everything like that, mate. Just fucking go and do it, lad, because you know you can.
Because he's like, I mean, that day, and I was like, he messaged me, he says, Sean, you want to meet up for breakfast? Jesus, Toby, yeah, okay, fair enough. Because he knew I was in the city on my own and what have you, and that's fine. But Jesus Christ, man, I spent all day with him, and there's not a nicer lad, not a nicer lad. They're so down to earth, so fucking focused. This was his plan. He got himself a nice little car. It's actually better than Martin's, and Martin will fucking kill me for saying it. But you want to see fucking Toby's car. And Toby's just, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. So fucking focused. And I mean, if I had a quarter of the focus that he had back when I was that age, well, I might have turned out a whole lot better. But Martin's saying brick. Your car's all right until you took off the AKM LFC stickers off it, and the SD Designs one. But he's such a good kid. He's a young man, and I mean he's an absolute credit to Gemma and Martin, and I know his brothers absolutely idolize him, and his mother. And Martin, I mean, the pictures of that, man, it was beautiful. It was so great to be part of it, and I was fucking thrilled with him. My car's missed.
Sorry, mate. We've got Miss Scoozy and Scott that are in the Discord now. So,
good man.
Anybody else that wants to come in and join us, the link's still in the chat. So make sure you go in that. Gavin, fucking join it. Join the Discord, mate. I know you'd love that, mate. So Martin wants to get talking about you again, Seano, because he's thanking us for the shout out, but this is about you. Miss Goose has left us. He's gone to put the Bambino to bed.
All right,
See you later, mate. See you later, Scoozy, mate. Speak to you on the Discord chat. Ricky says, you might be a stepdad, technically, Martin, but how you have been with Toby, obviously, from what you've said on here, you are as good as his real dad. Good shout there, Ricky, mate. Good shout, mate. So, I guess, Seano, have you got anything else you'd like to get off your chest regarding Fenway We Come Not to Pay? Because obviously, I have titled this, one-on-one with Seano, The Redemption. So, if you have anything else to get off your chest that you feel like and put to bed right now regarding that, I'll open up the floor to you. If there's nothing else in it, we can move on to some other questions I've got that are not related to that. But I want to give you as much time to talk about this because I know of how much of a big part of a life it's had on you negatively as well as positively as well. But,
yeah, I mean, look, as I said, there were, like, I mean, Lee, I'd be in touch with, not as often as I used to be, and that's just true, his life and my life and the schedule and what have you. But I've plenty of time for Lee, and Lee, I mean, he's doing DJing, and he still watches a bit of football. I'm not in contact with John, and I mean, I know John was very good to me. Like, he designed a website and whatever, and I know that we kind of had a falling out, and then there was like a splinter group from Fenway We Come Not to Pay. And when you think back, you think, Jesus Christ, all the fucking pettiness. And really, all he was trying to do at the time was offer someone advice who, at that stage, had just had it with the abuse that he was getting. And like I said to you, there was one person that I but said some horrible shit to. And that person wasn't involved at all. And that person was equally as horrified about the sort of treatment that I got as I was. I know he doesn't forgive me and whatever, and that's fine. That's up to him. But the rest of them that try to, put up my address online, the rest of them that had, done what they did, tried to make out that I was taking money from Liverpool because I had a fucking online shop. Like, fuck me, man. If you saw my bank balance and the amount of fucking money that I pump straight back into the official store and the membership I have then, in Ireland, I'm lucky to have like any sort of money. So it's a stupid comment to make, but these people need to get a fucking life. I always just was very skeptical of these owners. I don't believe that if you're talking from a business point of view, that you can say, oh, this person put on their cape because they saw a distress signal up, the liver bird was dying, and this person flew over from Boston to save us. It was never about the passion. It was about an asset that was in trouble where they could maximize their profit, maximize the money that they would make out of the club. And as they said in the court documents, the communication between NESV at the time was, this club, we're going to get this club on a steal. Now, you had the likes of the Fenway Echoes, I'd call them, that wrote for 2 or 3 weeks trying to discredit that actual, me actually saying that. You had the Fenway Echo writing a 2-week tribute to Ian Ayre, when everywhere else he was a fucking internet meme. So, and where is he now? The job that he went to go to, he didn't last 6 months, and then he's over in fucking America doing sweet fuck all. So, it goes back to my original point, and I think this is something that we really, really need to look at in terms of these owners. We were warned that they manage expectations, and what greater way to manage expectations but to get our own to manage it for them. And that's what they have done with the likes of these YouTube channels, the likes of these journalists. James Pearce will go on about the fact that I superimposed a picture of himself and John W. Henry and Brockback Mountain. He actually wrote about that. I was like, but he was going on. He was saying, "We're the net spend boys now," as if to say anyone that poses these owners is not going to be happy with a Liverpool win, which is absolutely fucking ridiculous. And there was a lot of that went on, and it still continues. And
it's weird because as well, when you think about that as well, like we could turn around now if he can go, oh, where's the net spend boys now? We could be like, where's the FSG defenders now? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
but sure, he was talking about the bloody net spend there recently, and then also Klopp turned them down when he asked him a question, and the big question mark over that. And Chris Pajek went to his defense, and someone else went to his defense over that, and this, that, and the other.
I don't even know. I'm going to say this now, and I've said it.
Yeah.
I've said it in videos, and I think I've said it on streams. I don't know James Pearce. I've got nothing against James Pearce personally. But what I will say is, with him being the so-called Liverpool correspondent at The Athletic, it's fucking weird how all the major news that comes out of Liverpool on the site that he's paid and works for, where he's supposed to be the Liverpool journalist, gets reported by David fucking Ornstein.
Wearing his Boston Red Sox hat. Rico Iglesias looking motherfucker. I mean, come on. Honest to Christ. On this, I have to go to this. Like, whatever about Fenway we come out to pay, that's dead and gone. That's buried. And, people who, called me up when the Super League came up or whatever, you need to get Fenway we come out to pay back. No, I fucking don't. Because when we had Fenway we come out to pay, we had support, and then we didn't. And when people, needed to rise to the occasion, they didn't. And when, there was a debate or an argument, they weren't there. They, gave me the balls to fire. And I rather stupidly took the bait and I went for it. I'm not that person anymore. I'm 46 years of age. I have other responsibilities. I have a job that I care about a great deal, that does actually help people. And I care about what goes on in my country, and that affects me and the Irish people and all of that. That's what bothers me now. Not what £1 billion club does. Of course, this will always be. I don't like these owners. Plain and simple. Could they do better? Yes. Does it take an awful lot for them to do better? No. Would I rather it be FSG sorted out rather than FSG out? Absolutely. Because I don't want that hassle of what we went through with Gillette and Hicks. But to use Gillette and Hicks as a reason not to question these owners is setting the bar so low. And if you said to Bill Shankly, Joe Fagan, or any of them that it would take 30 years for us to win, or the next title, they would be rolling around in their grave. We shouldn't be settling for that. We shouldn't be settling for. We have the same net spend. It's probably less now because we didn't spend anything in January. It definitely is less. But we, up until the summer, we have the same net spend as what we had as a £300 million club under Gillette and Hicks. They are facts. And if you want to do the maths, don't, just section off one part of the mathematics just to fit your narrative. Do the fucking sums. And that's really where I'm getting at. Newcastle United fans were giving out about Ashley, and rightly so. And look what happened.
Yeah. I mean, you got the United fans with Glazers as well. I mean,
That's a
I don't.
holy shit show. That's a day. And bear in mind, FSG are in cahoots with the Glaziers with Project Big Picture.
Mm-hmm. I
And
remember
if
you
anyone
saying,
wants to look that up, check that up.
yep. Ricky says here, when they all eventually stop kissing up to FSG, it wouldn't even shock me if they tried to get you to do an interview with them, Seano.
I couldn't care less.
I just want to put this out there, guys. Seano will not be doing any interviews on any other
No.
YouTube channel unless I am with him.
No. I'm doing no more other YouTube channels. Oh no. I got in trouble before. No more.
Yeah.
No more.
We aren't letting that happen again.
That's not happening. Not happening. No. Definitely not.
No, to be fair though, but I guess we're coming to the end of the thing where we come not to pay thing.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, mate, like the fact then we're talking about other YouTube channels goes to show how much you do want to help other people. Like you helped me, you've helped other YouTube channels that we won't mention that you've had falling outs with, which I know about. One of them I was fucking stood right next to you when it happened. Like Jesus Christ.
And can I just make one comment on that? I would like, for me, if I felt that I disappointed someone and I, stood someone up like that, I would be so upset and I would be ever apologetic. But the fact is, I never stood that person up. I fully intended on going over, but I had no idea that there was nearly a 4-course meal and a barrel of beer ready for me. And I don't drink that much, so I don't know. But that I just want to set out there.
It's fine, mate. Gavin, you have joined the Discord, mate. I've just seen you that you've joined. We've got Gavin, Scott, Ricky, and Miscusi in the Discord now, mate. So that should be interesting going forward. Scott says that Seano is exclusive to AKM and my podcast. That's true.
Yeah.
On the thing we were just talking about, my opinion on that. I've told you. So it was just miscommunication on both parts.
Absolutely.
But
yeah.
It's all it was. So
and I genuinely, I have the greatest respect for that particular person and what he has done previously and what have you. I think if there was time given and maybe he thought about some of the things he said that were very hurtful, I think he may have, ended up regretting that, because I know what it's like to fly off the handle, because I used to do that, but I don't, so I wish him the best.
Yeah, mate. I mean, I do too. So since we've come to the end of that, mate, I just want to say a couple of things before we go any further with it, to try and cap that off with like a bit of a positive. I'm not the only person that noticed as you were talking. Then you could see the weight lifting off you.
Yeah.
You stuff like this, mate, and being on this channel. Like, I'm not trying to big myself up or any other channel you've been on. I think slowly over time it has built you back up again, mate. And it's good to see when we get people on here when they recognize you.
Yeah.
You don't get the shit. You just get told you were right, mate. And I don't know how obviously that makes you feel personally, because I don't know how you feel, but I think seeing that, and I wasn't even involved with you back then, mate. When I see that little tiny message pop up on this sidebar here, and it don't happen regular because we don't get them people in here a lot, but when it happens, I fucking just it hits me here, mate, every time, because I just know the shit you went through. You didn't deserve it. No fucker deserves that shit, no matter what they've. Well, you know what I mean. No football fucking channel or anything that deserves to be treated the way that you was treated, mate. It got far too fucking personal over a fucking football club, mate. Yes, I'm sat here fucking doing a YouTube channel on it. We talk about it every fucking week on here. Yes, I'm fucking sat there looking at news, and me and Gavin are in communication every fucking day about what's going on, and I fucking love it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I don't think I would personally go to the levels that these people were going to, because I didn't agree with what somebody was saying.
And I mean, see, people don't realize that, Adam. They only look at the reaction that I had one particular night where, like, I was, like, I mean, I could go into great detail as to how I was mentally and physically and emotionally and all of that. And again, like I said to you, I'm not looking for any sympathy. I sure as fuck ain't gonna look for that online. But one of the things that I've often said to people that are considering on doing a YouTube channel or are doing a YouTube channel is just be careful. And just because I've spoken to several people, even people that you don't know about that I had been involved with through the store that I was doing, and I was setting up kind of, prizes for them so that they could, get more subscribers and what have you. I seen that, the effect that some of the abuse had on a few people, in particular the person that interviewed me there, the abuse that he was getting, and whether he is putting it on himself, whether I put it on myself or not, is fucking irrelevant. Is fucking irrelevant. Life is far too short. People's mental health is far too delicate to be fucking around, to be fucking about with someone's family, dead relation. Um, they went, and I mean, I had 3 fucking years of that before I exploded, and it was a big regret of mine that I ever got to that stage, or I let myself get to that stage. I'm owning up to that. I'm owning up to I'm responsible for that, and I'll say straight out, I'm responsible for that. But these people will focus on that like typical narcissistic ego maniacs, and they will say, yeah, but Sean, but they won't look at their behavior that led to that. And to me, this is not a proper representation of Liverpool, of the supporters. I remember going over to see Atalanta, and we got fucked right over by a company, a travel company, that wanted us to pay an extra grand for a coach and a ferry trip. And we got in another coach, which was from Belfast. And a guy came up to me and he says, and again, I'm not massaging my ego, but it meant a fucking massive deal to me. He says, "You're Seano from Fenway We Come Out to Pay, aren't you?" And obviously, he also knew me from being previously on Cop Talk on Saturday Night Steaming. And that meant an awful lot to me from saying, fair play to you, Sean. Whether he meant fair play to you, Sean, I appreciate your passion. You showed your passion. Whether you were right or wrong makes no difference. But there is a lot of people in the so-called big two that were responsible for that behavior. There was a few journalists that were, I mean, you have Chris Bashcombe talking about Olympic crime. You have Pierce going on about, where the net spend boys. I mean, come on. I'm not going to pay to read your opinion. I don't care for your opinion. Where is the hard hitting fucking journalism? Where is the questions of, like, what happened to Edwards that made him leave Liverpool, and Julian Ward? What happened to them, and why did they come back? And it had anything to do with Jurgen Klopp? Are you fucking telling me that not one of them could ask that question?
I think stuff like that, though, mate. It's in all media. Like, all media is like that nowadays, and I think when you look
But it
at
shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. That's not what journalism is about.
When you look at film media, game media, political media, football media, whatever it is, you need to go to the independent fans, and I'm not just saying that to big up my own channel. Go
No.
watch someone else's. I know you guys are members, but I'm about when this goes public, like go watch somebody else's channel. You will see something a lot more real than you will from somebody who is obviously getting shit from the club. It doesn't necessarily mean hard cash, but the club would not give authority for their players, their employees, to go and do an interview with somebody that would shine a bad light on them. It wouldn't fucking happen. I won't get a Liverpool player on here. It ain't gonna fucking happen, all right? Like, it wouldn't happen. And I wouldn't be invited to a fucking press conference either, because when something gets fucking said, I think might be the only person that'd sit there and go, well, what do you mean by that? Like, can we get a bit more? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And
like,
I mean, you know, that was the risk that I was willing to take, you know, when I did Fenway We Come Not to Pay and we started that up. I wasn't interested in doing a fucking a questionnaire or having the club take me over and dictate to what I say. But we've seen it with other channels. We know of people that have been approached by the club, and we know that their exclusivity has been taken from them. And we know from speaking to Frank that he had a similar case. So this isn't pie in the sky. This isn't a conspiracy fucking theory. This actually happens. We know what you call it. Jurgen Klopp wasn't going to speak to the scum because something that they were going to release about, I think it was Daniel Agger, had nothing to do with Hillsborough, but there was something that was going to be released about Daniel Agger that that was it. We know that he wouldn't speak to James Pearce for whatever reason, because there was something that he didn't agree with. James Pearce, when he left the Fenway Echo, as I call them, and he went to the Athletic, there was one shred of honesty in his reporting, and that was the time that he questioned the net spend and the fact that he says these owners do not invest in the squad. And now he's gone back and he's done a complete U-turn. So
100%.
The problem is that you have these people that are dumbing down the fan base, are telling you to conform, right? Are telling you you've got to be this way or you're a plastic or we will bully you offline. And that's what happened. And that's what happened to me. That's what happened to Fenway We Come Not to Pay. Literally, and I mean, again, not pie in the sky. If you remember Jen Chung, head of communications in the early stages of Gillette and Hicks, or the early stages of Fenway Sports Group, there was a person on X, then it was Twitter, and he was claiming to be a mole. And Jen Chang, and you can check this, lads, head of communications, he arranged to have a meeting with this person and threatened to dig up dirt on this person and make their life a living hell. And that person had to step down. Now, if that did not show you or prove to you guys the sort of control that the elite have on the media, I mean, you know, you might as well just not call them journalists. You might as well just call them puppets. So what I'm just saying to people is that you need to think outside the box and you need to stop being bullied. You need to look at these people, these YouTubers that are selling their books or selling their artwork or selling other people's artwork, are going and doing trips to America and Canada and Australia and Ireland and whatever, but they would be the first ones to fucking give out about tourists, the first ones to give out about day trippers, but they're not giving out about them when they're over on your patch looking for you to pay for their show.
100%, mate. 100%. it's so fucking frustrating. Like, but I guess I do wonder when FSG do leave, will we see people show their true colors? And I guess we won't know that until it happens. But I just want to go over some comments, mate, before we wrap things up. I've got a couple more quick fire questions for you before we end it all.
Oh,
but Gavin says that I've joined the Discord. Yeah, I've done that one already. The passion Seano has is genuinely unmatched for LFC. I'm so glad you're on here sharing your opinions in a great community with great Reds.
appreciate that, Scott.
Gavin, can I just say wholeheartedly, guys, thank you so much. One, for accepting me onto this and giving my opinions. I'm not an easy person to trust easily, but you have been a big help, mate. Gavin, I can't even remember when me and you first started communicating. It had to be at least nearly 2 years ago now, mate. And you popped up in, this is going to sound so weird when I say this then. You slid into my DMs, mate. And we just got talking from there. And no, honestly, Gavin, you know, I mean, I know stuff that's been going on with you personally, mate. And you know, if you need anything, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Seano, I'm sure, as well, or Martin, whatever. We'll be here for you, mate, no matter what. I want to meet you in person, mate. I do. I really do want to meet you in person. So, yeah, I just thank you, Gavin, as well, for being there every day. I know sometimes you send me stuff and I look at it and I don't reply straight away, but it's just because I'm busy. But, mate, you're a big help to the channel.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I appreciate everything you do for this channel as well, mate. And I'm not just saying that. You know, I think I talk to Gavin pretty much every day. And I don't mind it whatsoever. I'm there for him and he's there for me. So yeah. Gavin also continues by saying that his mental health isn't the best, but your videos, banter, and chats let me escape. Which is, I'm happy that's the case, mate. I'm so happy.
And I mean, that's job well, or that's job done then for us when we hear something like that. Like if we reach out to one person or two or three or four people, like that means means a great deal for me. I know it means a great deal for you, Adam. And I think that's really what our whole mission statement is with AKM, and why I got onto AKM is that, without sounding like a Trump slogan, we want to make Liverpool YouTube great again. And I think I know fucking I'm so cheesy you could spread me on a cracker, but yeah, honest to God,
I'm gonna have to make up a fucking thingy of that. What is it?
that's gonna be on a
MLYG. No, I can't even. Oh, fucking yeah. ML
making Liverpool YouTube great again.
MLY.
Where I'll tell you what, I'm just gonna put that on a fucking hat, and then you can buy it.
Actually, Sean, I actually do want to speak to you about something when we.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right then. That's all. Martin's got a comment for you as well. Sorry, mate. He reckons that you've needed this for years. He's so proud of you for venting and getting it out finally, and that you will sleep tonight and sleep well.
Yeah, the amount of tension, I mean, the amount of anxiety that I have, or I've had talking about this, you know, it's like if you were sitting next to me, you'd see me fucking shaking with anxiety. I mean, it does take its toll. And after doing Fenway would come not to pay, I was so fucking scared. I was scared shitless of even, I mean, Googling or I was petrified. I was absolutely petrified. And you know, I didn't want to even see YouTube. You know, I didn't want to even put on music through YouTube. I didn't even want to know about any Liverpool channels. And it took me a while to gradually get back into it and gradually say, you know, well, do you know what? This was my opinion. Now I'm going over and I'm going to start enjoying games, and I'm just going to leave that fucking shit storm and see where the cards fold and see what happens. Part of me wanted so much to be fucking wrong. Yeah. So people saying to me, you know, Sean, you were right. I don't want to be right about this shit. It was never about me massaging my ego and, oh, well, SKB, although we joke about and Adam knows more and whatever, and Dunk knows best and whatever. That's all a piss take. It's all a piss take on the haters. Do you know what I mean? But like Martin, it to me, it's so important. And I mean, my mental health, Gavin, hasn't been great. It's up and down like a whore's knickers. But it really need to kind of get the word and sorted, don't I? But like it is. It's. I mean, I have to be very, very careful about my own mental health. And YouTube does not, if you get a community like this, certainly, that's fantastic. But there are other communities that you're just a number and you're swamped. And, if they pick on one little thing, the abuse that you get. And I don't tolerate any of that online anymore. If I see something, I let them have a little rant and then I delete them and I block them and that's it. And whatever they fucking post is irrelevant. The people that know me, and I'm not going to go and try and fucking justify myself to complete and utter strangers. And there was one saying that I think it was Tom Holland, Spider-Man fucking actor, said, if you got a problem with me, ring me. If you don't have my number, you don't know me well enough to have a problem.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's it. If you don't have my number, you don't fucking know me well enough to have a problem. Get the fuck over it. If you're in a pub and you say that player is shit, no, he's not. He's having a great game. You're not going to go and send fucking death threats and pictures of his or her family or his and her mother's and father's house. So look how ludicrous that is. So yeah, I did want to get that off my chest, and that's it. Martin, you're ringing me, but I'm still on chat here. He's probably crying or something. But yeah,
messaged me about. He's been sending me some stuff. Gavin says that it's a budding friendship, and it was November, the supposed takeover. That's when me and Gavin first started communicating. So yeah, Seano, we've been going for nearly 2 hours, mate. We said we'd go longer than me and Martin did. What I want to do with you, mate, is just ask you 2 quick fire questions that I've asked Martin. I want to ask you the same ones.
Mm-hmm.
So, favorite Liverpool player of all time?
Stevie G.
Why?
Because I mean, he like if you look at the times that he grabbed the game with both hands and won it for us outright, the amount of times that he came to our rescue, he was a midfielder that could shoot from anywhere. He could play on the right hand side, he could play at center, defensive midfielder. I mean, like literally, he was a great tackler of the ball, a great passer of the ball, could fucking shoot from 40 or 50 yards. A phenomenal player. And if you had Stevie G in your team with that armband, you're guaranteed that you're going to play your fucking socks off, or if you didn't, you get an earful. So for me, he had it much harder than Virgil. I mean, Virgil has only been captain for 2 seasons now, or was 2 seasons. This will be his second. But he had to deal with very, very difficult circumstances under Gillette and Hicks and under Brendan Rodgers and all of that. And yeah, amazing player.
I didn't ask Martin this question because it didn't pop in my head when he answered that question. But since you've answered that and you've mentioned the fact that Steven Gerrard used to grab games by the scruff of the neck, can you think of a player since he left that has done that? Because I'll be straight. This is my answer straight away. I can't think of a single player that has grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck like Steven Gerrard used to do and win the game for Liverpool. And I'm even putting more Salah in. I've never seen Mo Salah grab the game like Steven Gerrard used to do and win the game for Liverpool. I
I
don't
think
think I've ever seen anybody
no,
do that since Gerrard left.
I think Mo Salah is different because Mo Salah could have a quiet game, and you may think, well, he's having a bad game, and therefore, you just leave him to it, and then all of a sudden he pops out of nowhere. I'm not too sure whether he is the captain material that Stevie G is, or Stevie G was. He's a fantastic player. Don't get me wrong. Salah is amazing to have on your squad, but they're different players and different temperaments. And again, obviously he's a Scouser, so obviously it means more to him being a Scouser. So, where Salah has come into this environment, Gerrard was born into it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I still want to find that video. I can't. The impressionist must have taken it off YouTube because I can't find it anymore. But what Gavin said here about Steven Gerrard has carried the club on his back, had to play with some awful players. There was that impressionist who Paul
Darren Farley.
Gareth Farley, yeah.
Darren Farley, yeah.
Darren Farley.
Yeah,
He did an impersonation of Steven Gerrard, and he sat there on a chair and he's like, I've played with some absolute shite. And I can't find that video anywhere anymore. If anyone can find me that video, I must have watched that 5 or 6 times, but he must have took it down. It's not on his YouTube channel anymore because the person talking to him was like, I'm going to just list some players that you've played with now. And he's like, El Hadj Diouf, Salif Diao, like Henshaw, like not that, but do you know what I mean? Like just random players. And Steven Gerrard's just like, I'm gone because I've played with some absolute shite.
Yeah, I mean, he was. Look, I mean, I'll never forget Istanbul. I'll never forget the West Ham game, the FA Cup, and I fucking fairly fucking sure that when he scored that fucking howler, he goes to the squad, goes to the away fans, and he's showing the back of his jersey, Gerrard, and I think he flips the fucking bird. He goes like this, and I'm convinced he's told them to fuck off. But I loved Stevie G, and when Stevie G left, that was the kind of resurgence of Fenway we come not to pay, because it was left there for a bit, and then it fucking came back when I heard that they weren't offering him a contract. So yeah, he to me, I mean, I loved him. I mean, I don't know how many jerseys I have with his name on it, but yeah.
We've got another comment there actually from some people who said here,
Yeah,
Suarez, was he a player that won the game off, grabbed the game by scruff of the neck? Maybe, but I guess he played with Gerrard as well, so I don't know. Like,
he played with Gerrard, but I mean, he was also, I mean, he was a wizard. He was a wizard, Harry. He was a fantastic player, but his temperament was the thing that got the better of him, and I don't think Gerrard had that problem.
Yeah. Gavin asks about Moore, but I don't genuinely think that Moore's grabbed a game by the scruff of the neck like Steven Gerrard used to do. I don't know. If I'm wrong on that, if people want to pull me up on that, let me know, like in the comments. But genuinely, I can't think of a game where I've been like, oh my fucking God, will someone just do something? And then Mo Salah's done it. I think it's always been like a team effort, if that makes sense. I don't know. Last question for you then, Seano, before we get gone. The contracts. How do you see them going right now?
Well, obviously, it's not been going so well so far. There's a lot of people that have an opinion that contracts have been offered and they have rejected them. I'm not too sure if that's entirely true. I know obviously Kanate has said that he's been offered a contract. He's the only player that has been told has said that has been offered a contract. As far as Salah is concerned, we're none the wiser regarding that. I know that NBC Sports had said, they're congratulating Slot on how he has kind of got the team to kind of say, well, look, let's just focus on the football and what's really important here. But that's all well and good, people saying that. At the end of the day, yes, these players earn a huge amount of money, but it takes an awful lot for them to uproot their whole family at the end of the season as to where they go. And their the stability in a job, no matter where you work. All right, Scott. It's important.
See you later, Scott, mate.
And if they don't know whether they're playing next season or the season after, that's worrying. And the atmosphere that I'm getting from some of the players, and perhaps maybe the most recent performances, I am putting it down to insecurity into the future. What is the plan? After watching the video that you did on the summer transfer and what possibly could happen and what we need to happen, it's a rather daunting task. It's quite frightening. And with these owners, I'm not really sure that they are going to deliver, because they haven't delivered so far. We've been talking about a massive transfer kitty for as long as FSG have been about, and we've never really got it. And again, I'm talking net spend. I'm not talking about what we spent on fucking Darwin Núñez, But with regards to the contracts, with regards to who I see possibly leaving, who I see possibly staying, that all depends on what's been offered. In terms of Trent, I think Trent has gone 110%. You can even see it in the way he plays. I think he's gone. I think he's been gone for a long, long time. And I think that's completely down to club negligence, regardless of who's leaving and who's not, regardless of restructure or what. You play for the club. You don't play for the corporate suits or who's managing what or whatever. You play for the club, and that's it. In terms of Virgil wants to stay. He was asked, what do you think of what's one word that you think of when you think of Liverpool? And he says, love. They love me, I love them. So he wants to stay. So whether he gets that contract that he's worthy of is another thing. If he's offered a contract, he'd probably take it. With regards to Salah, I think they're looking at his age. And I think that the problem is you're looking at duration and whether they're prepared to give him a contract or not. If they give him a 2-year contract, why not give him a fucking 3? What's the difference? I mean, contracts are only good as the paper it's written on. If there's a slump in his performance, you could sell him and you could get a good amount of money, and the contract would seal that. So but we've got other contracts to worry about. We've got your man Varos as well. I put up a thing on Instagram of the contracts that we have to worry about this year and the next. And if you look at it, just going over here. So in 2026, we've got Kelleher, we've got Robbo, and we've got Kanate. 2007, Jota, Diaz, Elliott, Endo, Jones, Gomez, Timikas, and Bradley. Mm-hmm. So that's that's a lot. They really, the 2027 contracts should be talked to right now. Those players should be talked to. There's no way that it should be left down the remaining 12 months. It's crazy. So the excuses are over. Richard Hughes, your extended holiday is over. You can't go on past glories about Bournemouth. We bet them. start living up to your wage and fucking do your job.
Yeah, I agree, mate. The longer this goes on, I don't even fucking want to know, mate. Like, I don't want to start talking because it'll ruin that video that's going up on Thursday. So
yeah, don't talk about
Martin and Seano have both seen that video. I sent them the link and they both enjoyed it. So let me know, guys, what you guys think about it all. Gavin says here that Virgil stays, Mo stays, Trent goes, and Kanate goes, and Kanate will be their Coutinho 2.0. I mean, I don't think they'll get as much money for Kanate as they did Coutinho, but I can get your point. Gavin, watch my video, mate, on Thursday when it goes live. I'll tell you this. I decide to sell players in that Liverpool squad that I wouldn't want to, but I do it out of the necessity of having to strengthen the squad in other places. And I think, I don't actually say it in the video, but when you add it all up together, I think I raise about 250 million by selling certain players. So yeah. Gavin also says, it's like what I said to Adam. Why isn't Trent doing pre and post match interviews? He's our vice captain. Because he don't want to be asked that question, mate, about his contract.
Want to be asked that. Yeah, and I think he has a thing where he's told them that he doesn't want to answer any questions about his contract.
Yeah. Right then, Sean, I'm going to end it there, mate. But before we go, I want to give you your flowers. I want to say a massive thank you to you for sharing. I know some of the stuff I've known about, but I've not known about everything. I know it took a lot out of you. You know, I hope you don't mind me saying, but before we went live, we were talking and you did mention how nervous you were about doing this. I hope it has helped. I hope, you know, there's people around here that support you and are with you. You know, you've got me, Martin, definitely like close. But as you've seen in the chat, you've got Miscusi, Scott, Gavin, Ricky are all here. And I'm sure there's others when this video goes public that will also see that as well. And I hope you keep an eye on the comments as well. So
that's where my anxiety will go through the roof again, to be honest with you. So it's like, I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate the comments. Like I said to you, it's not this story could be anyone's story. Do you know what I mean? It could be anyone's thing. And I've seen the effect that YouTube has, and I've seen the toxicity online. And, you know, I think an argument is lost, and a point that you're trying to make is lost when you go that low and you try and get to someone by making personal comments, or, you know, and I see it happen to people that have a bigger platform than us, that should know better, that don't know better, or they do know better, but they are using their platform to incite hate, and that's what it is. And I've seen that. It's horrible. You know, like I said to you, I was completely naive when I first started off. It was that would be the things that I would change. Fucking hell yes. But I will never apologize, only bar that one person that I've already said. I will never apologize to anybody else for those who did what they did and stooped as low as they did, and they know who they are, and that's it. I'm not one for holding grudges, but when you involve someone's family, it's just fucking
cross the line. Yeah, mate.
And
I just wanted to know that, like, you've got a family here with all of us.
Appreciate that.
And everyone.
Appreciate that.
So yeah, mate. I don't know if you noticed, but there was times when I was getting a little bit things. So fuck knows what you were thinking, you were feeling. Sorry,
fuck, man.
Martin as well. So, again, mate, thank you for sharing. And I will say this one other thing before we do get off. You have built yourself back up again, and you're not that man anymore. You are stronger. You're stronger from coming through all that, and you've probably stopped me from doing some of the same mistakes that you made as well. So I want to say thank you to that as well, mate, as well, for looking out for me when I first started out, and for jumping on here as well and doing this with me and helping me, because fuck, it's hard doing this shit by yourself. And you've grown the Facebook, the social media accounts of this channel. So again, that's all down to you as well, mate.
Well,
I mean, I jokingly think in my head every time I look at it, I always think, oh yeah, Seano's the social media account manager.
oh fuck no! If anything, I'll tell you, if you said that to people that know me outside of this, they'd be saying, "Fuck no." They'd be like, "This guy posts up his whole fucking life on social media." I don't anymore, but you know, I'm a lot more private, and I'm very careful of who I allow on my Facebook and whatnot, and Instagram and all of that. But it's dangerous out there, and I think it's only getting more and more twisted and nasty. And you know, anyone that is a message I really want to just put out there, like as I said, I don't want to be stirring up the pot or whatever of past indiscretions and past arguments. But anyone that is anti FSG, do not be, you know, throwing abuse at Linda, because Linda is actually a fan of Liverpool. Do not be and I mean, she's a woman. You don't need to be throwing abuse at a woman. Do not be, you know, getting personal with people that are opposed to you and your opinion. And that's all I'd say to you. And for those people that are opposed to FSG out people, we're all fans at the end of the day. This differentiating between out of towners and who's more passionate. The reason why the atmosphere of Liverpool is so poor is because of these out of towners and day trippers. That is xenophobic. That is racist. And that's an assumption that you have made. You don't know the majority of the people in there. You cannot make a sweeping statement like that. And I'm far from politically correct. You know that. But to make a statement like that is ridiculous. And it's just to fit your narrative. Cop yourselves on. You're doing a great disservice to this fantastic club that we all love. So that's all I got to say on that. And thank you very much, guys and girls, for listening to this old fella.
No, it's appreciated, mate. I'll just cover off these last messages before we go. So you've got Muscusi saying that Trent will stay. Remember this message. Gavin saying, look forward to the video on Thursday. Seano, you were brilliant, mate, and be proud of yourself, mate. You'll never walk alone.
Appreciate
and
that.
Ricky says he has to go. Cheers, lads. Seano, you're a legend. You'll never walk alone. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this. I think the boys want to do one for me, so we'll see when that happens. I might let the boys do like a thing with me. So yeah, maybe it'll be Sean. I don't know if Martin can jump on, but if Martin wants to jump on as well, we'll do it as well.
I think Martin would love to do it, yeah, because he was only telling me about it there yesterday.
So yeah, that might be the next one you see on here, guys. Is Sean and Martin talking, questioning myself. So yeah, hope you all have a good evening wherever you are in the world. Good night if you're going to bed. Thank you for watching, everybody. That's it from me and Seano. We'll be back tomorrow with an instant match live reaction after the game against Aston Villa. But until then, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.